Welcome to Is This on the Test, a podcast where we debunk myths about modern education. We are your hosts, Anthony Tavares,
Katrina Pardo,
Henry Flores,
and Madai Martinez.
We are the creative team behind Union City Music and Dance, and this podcast is for parents, aspiring teachers, mentors, and students, where we pull back the curtain on education. Let's get right into it.
Is this on the test? I'm your host today, Katrina Pardo, and I am so happy to be back with
Henry Flores,
Madai Martinez.
and we're missing Anthony Tavares today, so shout out to Anthony, who's studying for a test.
It is on the test.
It is. So today's episode, we are talking about the role of the arts in the development of our students. So first off, I want to start with before we were teachers, we were all one student. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about how the arts helped us in our development in students and becoming instructors.
Okay. I can go first there. So one thing for me, I feel like I definitely benefited from the arts in the way that is like advertised, kind of. Like they say always, at least like music, right? At least they like one selling point for piano is that it helps with like organizational skills and time management and stuff like that. But I do think it's actually true because while I was like in my most rigorous time at my piano school, I definitely had to like really manage my time to learn things when I had to learn them and like dedicate like actual focused time. Something that I mentioned on our Instagram page is that when it came to practicing, you really want quality over quantity. So like my teacher would always tell me it's better to practice for 15 minutes, but like actually focused as opposed to like 30 minutes to an hour, but I'm thinking about something else. I'm not there. And when I started to get better at that, like practicing actually focus, I started to like do that with my schoolwork. Like I would study, but I would really study. Or if I was doing my homework, I was like doing the homework and like paying attention to what was in it. So that way, as soon as I handed it in, that information was gone, which is what sometimes happens. Hence the whole theme of our podcast, the title. Like we would learn things just for the sake of like answering that question on the test. And then as soon as the test is done, that information's gone. So like when you practice piano, at least if you're practicing correctly, you really got to be there. So practicing piano, which was the main arts that I was involved in, of course, definitely helped in like my schooling and like my studying habits.
Yeah, absolutely. Practicing right for sure, and that's applicable to anything, is definitely more important than just sitting down and
Right.
make your parents happy and doing what you gotta do. Yeah, for me, the role was, and I mentioned it before, the arts really was my second set of parents.
Right.
It wasn't so much about the me getting technically trained, or doing things, being guided, but it was an escape. For me, it was more of an emotional approach on some. I just was very much naturally inclined to do all things creative. Right. And then even in my career, what that did for me is it helped me problem solve. So I think when one of my favorite quotes, I remember, shout outs to New Jersey Seeds when we were doing, that the secondary school, after the secondary school assessment test, you do like the applications for high school, essentially, for the private high schools. And there was a question on one of the applications, never going to forget, and it said, what is your favorite quote and why?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote that I chose, my bad, I don't remember who it was that said it, was, life is the art of drawing without an eraser.
I like that.
And
That's good.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
8th grade, my dad was like, okay?
Yeah.
And then I was like, but because at that time, that was the first like quote or thing that happened to me that was pertaining to the arts that wasn't about the arts.
Yeah.
So it bridged the gap for me in a very real way. And then even to this day, when I teach the kids, the art kids, I'm like, no, there's no erasers in art because there's no erasers in life. When you make a mistake, you gotta make it still look beautiful or make it look like it was intended to be there.
I like that.
And that was a very beautiful thing that kind of really introduced me into, wow, I think this is something I really want to take seriously as a career path. for the first time. So it was definitely my second set of parents, and it was definitely giving me skills to operate in my own life, and I thought that was hella cool.
That is pretty cool.
Applicable.
Yeah.
Like that.
For
that
sure.
application was always direct for me.
Yeah, so for me, obviously, I was classically trained. So obviously, I did get the discipline that comes from dance. But for me, I had mentioned in a podcast before, is I was really shy as a kid. So for me, the arts and learning, getting into the dance world, not only helped me with that discipline and all that, but it helped me make friends. It helped me become more social. I'm still friends with the girls that I graduated dance with today. We've been friends since we were 7, 8 years old, and we're all in our 30s and married and kids, and our kids hang out with each other, and it's a beautiful thing. So for me, it was really helped me become the social butterfly that I am today. I know if you really know me, you would never, ever think that I was a shy kid, but I really was, and dance really helped me open up. Not only dance, but it helped me with singing and theater. So for me, it helped me become the woman that I am today and the teacher that I am today.
Word up.
Yeah.
I didn't mention mine because I was just thinking about school, but I agree. Like, it was definitely a confidence thing. I think the first time I was ever in front of a group of people was like behind a piano, like not before even like any kind of public speaking thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, music was definitely, it was like my surfboard into confidence. Because if I didn't have music, I don't know what my first time on a stage would have been, if I ever went on stage. So yeah.
Yeah.
Non-music related?
Yeah, like not music. But because of that, I've never had an issue being in front of people, because my earliest recital was at 5 years old. So I've played in front of people like forever. So I'm not super scared of that.
Yeah.
Like,
and one thing that
cool with it.
to piggyback off of that is we always tell our students, and the way that I like to live my life on a personal note is I like to lean into my fears. Like, my fears are always an indicator that I should do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And maybe that's me being a masochist, but I really, I've identified that feeling in my body, because that feeling right before you go on stage, that very like, I'm gonna pee and poop my pants at the same
Every
time.
single
And
time.
I'm also sweating, but I'm cold. Like,
Right.
that whole,
Right.
it's a very real bodily reaction. That kind of triggers your fight or flight mode. But I think getting comfortable, this is so messed up, but getting comfortable in that like flight or fight mode
Yeah.
then makes it so that when you really are in flight or fight,
No, yeah.
you're like,
Go.
okay, I know this feeling, I've been here before.
Yes.
Right,
I'm
right.
just going to do this thing.
That's right.
And it's gonna be fine. And then like Gabby, for instance, is super nervous to perform.
Mm-hmm.
That, and the analogy is funny. We both gave her
We
the
both
same
gave her the
exact.
same thing, yeah. Because that's really what it is.
Yeah,
It really
and
is that.
man.
it's that moment of like being super scared right before you go on a roller coaster.
Yeah, or like the line even.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's the worst. You know that line at Six Flags when you're about to get on Nitro and you're like,
Yeah, Nitro. Oh my god.
Nitro is my favorite ride. Like, if you tell me King the Cop, then we're talking.
It's too fast.
But I love Nitro.
Nitro will probably
no,
fast.
yeah, there's no way. Well, that guys, if you're not a performer out there, that's the feeling we feel.
Yeah.
Less now for sure.
The line
but-
for Nitro, pretty much.
But that's, and when we push our kids, that's the level of anxiety that they're feeling. We have
Right.
to
Yeah.
be very clear, because to parents it's like, oh my God, whatever. It's like
Just
20
play,
people in the
yeah.
audience,
Do the
do the thing. And I'm
Right.
like, no.
No, to them it's like
Yeah.
they look out there and they just see very
Yeah.
hateful, judgmental eyes,
Wow.
which is
no.
a shame. But yeah,
But I guess getting comfortable with that feeling of being in the fear did a very real thing for me. Again, it was the arts continually was directly applicable to real things in life, and I started to have, it was like a spiritual experience for me. Like I that was like a very real thing.
and then you look for it more, because like the latter half of that
Adrenaline.
analogy is
Yeah.
as soon as you get off Nitro,
You wanna go
you
back.
kind of want to go on it again.
Yeah.
Right.
And after the show on the 30th, because remember, even Sophia, like performance veteran, Denise as well, they were super nervous, and given the nature of that show was very different. They
Right.
were super, super nervous. But after the fact, Sophia was like, I kind of want to sing again. I was like, of course you do. Because like, why wouldn't you? It was awesome. And like, you were in your element. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been telling Gabby, I've been telling a bunch of students, that right after you play, you might be like sweating bullets until like while you're waiting for your turn, which is always the case. But I was saying that like right up until you play, or sometimes honestly, as soon as you start hitting the first note, you'll be okay. Because then like you're already in there.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
No.
Damn, I kind of want to play again.
And you want to do more, and that's
Right.
like it's all of these things are rites of passage.
Yeah.
Correct. I definitely felt like that in the show on the 30th. I thought it was, you guys know, I was like, I can't do this. I'm
Give
not.
all of you guys hugs.
I'm not doing it. And then we did the thing, and I remember it was you asking me, how do you feel? And I was like, let's go again.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
We were
ready.
chilling after.
Like, let's just do. So it's a real thing. It's a real feeling. I literally couldn't breathe. They were like, okay, show starting. And I was like, I couldn't move. And me, obviously, a dance fan, you tell me to dance in front of people.
Yeah.
Awesome, I'm set. But to sing in front of people that I don't know for the first time
That's kind of new to you, yeah.
in so many years. I think the last time I sung in front of people was like sophomore year of high school. So we're talking,
Yeah.
I'm not going to reveal age, but we're talking a long time, okay? So yeah, I definitely know what that feeling is firsthand, but it did feel great. It is that fight or flight mode. It's very true.
Yeah, and
It's
I
wonderful.
think if we're able to get students to identify that feeling, number one, and then to get comfortable in the uncomfortable, oh my God, then you've won at life. And the podcast, I'm done.
That
Like
helps a lot.
that's it. It's really that's if you could really like contextualize it and really like make it super punchy. That's essentially why the arts is such a powerful tool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I was like not to carry this point super much longer because I know you got some more notes there.
I got it.
But no, I agree. Like the arts, whether that be music or dance or singing or any kind of performance, it's such a I call it a surfboard or like a boogie board because it's that thing you have with you. Because if I wasn't playing, I don't know when I would have done something like that. But I do think that kids need something like that kind of early on.
Yeah.
And the arts let you experience that. And I think one of the safest ways possible, I don't know, you're not going to get hurt, you're not going to sprain anything in a recital. Because I feel like sports kind of can also put you through that rite of passage, but, that could be scary in a different way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's
That's the
definitely...
music teacher.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's definitely a big advantage that, the arts have.
Yeah.
Word. So while I was doing my research for this, because I researched, I found a quote that I really, really liked that I want to share with you guys. It says, "Art has the educational role in education of helping children become more like themselves instead of more like everyone else." How would you feel about that?
I agree.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I think one thing with that is, well, one, I agree. And two, I think it's because, no matter... I mean, I guess this could apply to anything, but I feel like even if you're trying to copy another musician, your style is always going to come out.
Yeah.
Right.
So, even if you, set out to replicate something, your way of doing it, your way of playing, your way of singing, your way of dancing, is always kind of shine through. So as long as you are creating, you will kind of be yourself. Because as long as you're doing, you're going to be doing you. So
And I will say that it is a very important technique, like in art, for instance, people are also don't trace it. If you trace it, that's copying, or don't do a cover. But it's the same, and it's funny how the same techniques of teaching are always time tried in terms of tracing will help you become a better artist because now you're getting
definitely.
a flow of what that line is supposed to look like. And then it's training wheels or doing a cover is to, get you kick-started until you go into music creation of your own. So I think, I don't know what my point was there, but yes to that quote.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's why SEL is also such a beautiful, segue.
You beat me to the punch.
Sorry.
I was talking about that.
Katrina's my notes.
No,
but my
sorry,
notes.
guys.
Yes.
Yeah, something about me is I'm very they know, we know. So, the next thing is, speaking of education, we started the after school program this year. So, Mr. Henry has been our, I want to say not teacher, but liaison for that after school program. So, I think this question is for you. How do you see firsthand, if at all, the arts are helping our current students in their education?
In their academics?
Yeah.
Cool.
One thing, the time management, I'm not seeing this too much. I'll keep it honest. I'm not seeing it too much with the youngest kids yet.
look at.
But in time, but I am seeing with like our like pre-teens, like I kind of see the organizational and the timing and like the getting used to setting time aside for a certain thing, setting time aside for studying in the same way that you would set aside time to practice a dance routine or practice a song. I am seeing that around the age where I would expect to see it. But there are some younger kids that are like kind of on top of their business on some days. But if nothing else too, like one thing that I do see with the after school kids, and whether it's because they want to stop doing homework or not, who knows, but I do like that aside from the like who said this? I think it was Mateus or something. I think it was Mateus, which kind of surprised me, but he was like in SEL, he was like, I like learning here instead of learning at school. And then I was like, I'm like, what's different about learning here than learning at school? And I don't remember his exact answer, but it was something along the lines of like, one, it's just more fun, but two, he can kind of do things his way, which is why I think I'm pretty sure it was Mateus who said that. But in a sense, I definitely can relate to that because they are learning here, but it is a different kind of learning. To call back to an earlier episode where we touched on this, like sometimes the learning there and something that Anthony talked about in said podcast, there are many different ways of learning, but sometimes in school it's kind of only worked in like one or two. So I do really like that a lot of students, like they'll be finishing their homework, but they're looking forward to piano class or like they're looking forward to dance class. So like they're excited to. And like when it comes down to it, like if we kind of just look at the bare bones there, they're going from one type of learning to another.
Yep.
Right.
But it is cool that like they have another one to look forward to. So whether it's, again, I don't know if it's like they just want to be done with homework or they're truly, truly looking forward to doing the arts here, like it just gives them something to look forward to. And it shows them early on that there's different ways to learn instead of like just the way they learn in school.
Yeah. Well, learning through play is a very real way that especially our youngest learners like connect to the world, right? It's when you're from like age 0 to 5, 6 years old, the world, imagine now with the knowledge you have now, stepping into a new planet.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
You would probably be like, what is this mushy thing? And you want to touch anything and feel it. And so, but we get into this constant thing of discipline is a real thing. That it's like, no. Can't go there, can't do this, da-da-da. And then the kids are like having all these restrictions and you're like, bros, this sucks.
Yeah. And before you continue, like that earliest part of learning, like you really only get that one time, like the way kids are like learning experiencing the world. I read this thing once and it was like we're born too late to explore the world and too early to explore space, so we're like kind of just like damn, what do we do? But kids kind of have that wonder, pretty much. But kids kind of have that wonder to like, because you go to like a new school, a new building, and they're just like, and like you see it in their eyes, they're like amazed to be in like a new room. Yeah. Like you introduce like a new chair to the classroom, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, that's why different learning spaces are important. That's why here our lighting, we take very, our lighting is different. It cues them in a different way. Then we cue them with music. Then we cue them with space. We have to cue them with all of the senses, and that's why. And schools cannot do that, and they can't afford to do that because there are thousands of children. Kids, They're like, how do and now we're gonna all have a nook? No, you can't. It's impossible to have a nook for every single kid. Right. So, but yeah, you need cozy spaces. You need soft and hard surfaces. Like all of this is intentional. And parents, yes, we do take that level of care here at UCMD because you need to stimulate different things. And a student that is ADHD or having disciplinary issues or whatever, you do have to, especially with those students, pay more attention. It's like, you know what, go into a room by yourself instead of having, maybe they're overstimulated by the amount of kids and noise in that particular area. And maybe in a quieter space, it would calm down. Right. But apart from that, that's why all of this works, because it's the arts mixed with something cool, mixed with giving them stimulation of curiosity that they're really hungry for. And they're also learning and playing in the process. So it's a win-win across the board. So parents, if you don't have, it doesn't have to be UCMD, but we always encourage at least one type of arts And there's so many creative writing, like painting, drawing, sketching, music, all sorts of instruments, dance, all sorts of dance, something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to my next point. We're right here today.
Nice.
We're in sync. Like the purple going on and the
plan.
look at this.
Sorry, guys.
Every
We still love you. So, touching on that point, let's say we have parents out there that their children may not be ready for an environment like UCMD. What are some tips that we would give on how to introduce any type of art to different age groups? So we're starting from maybe the 2 to 5, which is our age groups, 2 to 5, 6 to 8, 9, 12, 13 plus.
I definitely have one.
Yeah.
So today was a toy review episode for the little ones. And when I was purchasing the toy, walking the aisles of Target,
Target, love Target.
I was actually, obviously I'm not a mom, so I don't shop in the toy aisle very often.
Well.
So I found myself in the toy aisle for the first time, and I was like, I was really confused by the selection of choices. There were a lot of scary looking dolls, and by scary I mean like with makeup and like fierce looking like plastic things. And I was like, okay, well, with the Bratz and the LOLs and the Barbies and all that stuff, right? Monsters, whatever they're called. And I was like, yo, where are the toys? Where are the toy drums? Where are the toy pianos? Where are the toy, I don't know, beatboxing DJ kit?
Like a little toy.
Like, where's the mini Akais for not, whatever. And because music equipment obviously is super expensive, having, dance, whatever, all that. But it's important to create moments, even if it's like dress up time at home, even if it's like I would make more of an effort. Parents, I know it's super easy to like give your kid a tablet so they can just be quiet. Honestly, we get it, and we know that they're with you way longer than they are with us, and there might be multiple age groups in a household. It's like having, how do you deal with a 15-year-old kid and then a 2-month baby and then like a 6-year-old?
Yeah,
you're like, there's not real family activities. But I think within all of that, even as we were talking about ensemble today, you have the kids, like if you were to play with the kids, you would play something very much more elaborate. But maybe the other one's just like ringing a bell. But it's that inclusivity.
But you can
that
still
really
get
matters.
them grooving,
Right.
If they in this, we talked about this in Victor Wooten's TED Talk, which I referenced in one of our posts as well.
The jamming.
It's like, whenever I play, I agree with that, because like that inclusivity is so important, especially with kids, because, and again, we're propping the arts up here anyway, that's the whole point. But like that's something that you really don't get a feel for in like standard education, unless you do go to a program like Seeds or something like it. I've had students playing a very simple right hand, but I'll be going off on the other side of the piano. But they just hear, they see themselves playing, and they hear this like fully fleshed out song, and they're like, whoa, I'm performing right now. And like, so whenever I play with students anytime, I'll always like play with them as I would play with anybody.
Yeah, because it's a support.
I'll jam out with them because like they get to hear it, and whether they're playing one note and I'm adding to that, or they're just playing only the right hand, I'm adding to that, like that's a moment right there. Like they'll remember that key memory created.
Because that's where that like invigoration of like flow, and that's where that little like semillita, that little seed is really born. So back to the question, I would just make pockets of space to just play, but not just with a bang bang toy, like not just like LOLs dolls, but play in a creative way. Play and be like, oh, the monster's coming.
Act with them.
Like act with them. Yeah, like draw. I have them, and there's also so many creative ways where like maybe obviously don't have them draw on the walls, but kids are always inclined to do things that they're not supposed to do. So if you allow them, and then they look at you like I don't know, let's say you put like a whiteboard sticker, they sell those I think on the wall, and you're like, draw on the wall, and then they're like, what? And then they're like, and that's where the creativity really starts to flow, because it's in the times that they're like, yo, mom and dad or grandma or whoever is giving me this time and space to do this whatever I want. Right. Yeah, but it's not just them doing it. it matters that you're sitting crisscross applesauce with them on the floor doing it. And, we're talking about more the younger kids, but even with the older kids, taking an interest goes such a long way. And then for the older kids, I would say it'd be more like, hey, Alex, show me what you're playing on the piano. I'd like to hear you. Or
for sure.
Hey, Alex, why does this note sound different? I think parents, if you ask those kinds of questions, then they then feel like they're the authority in that. And now Alex is being like, well, Mom, this is a C scale, and this sounds like this different than this scale because of this. And Mom is like, oh, that's so cool. Do you think I could play it? And then he's like laughing because Mom doesn't know how to put the fingers on.
Right.
That's again a moment. Kids remember
sure.
moments, whether they're happening at home, whether they're happening with us, whether they're happening with their friends. And what's happening with technology now, why I hate that toys go bing bong bang, is because we're prematurely giving them overstimulation when they need to find the patience to find that in regular schmegular things and moments in life. But I can talk about why I hate Chromebooks at school, but
let's not. That would be for a different.
That would be my suggestion. I think really carving out that space at home also supports us here.
Sure does.
Yeah.
So speaking on little kids, it's funny that you mentioned the white sticker because it reminds me of me as a kid. So my grandmother used to put printer paper. Do you remember the old school printer paper that was plain white with the little holes in it?
Yeah.
So what she used to do was she used to just open it and put it against the wall, and me and my brothers would go ham, just all over the wall, and she would leave it there, and it was like an art gallery.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I do it at home with my kids, with Sophia and Keandra. They have a little thing in their room where they go ham with the art. Yeah. And then we also have, it was mine when I was a kid. It was a small little drum set. The Fisher Price drum, with the color drums.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. Full jam session. We have a karaoke machine at home.
Yeah. So
it's a pretty artsy fartsy home in my home. And it's fun. And I love it. They love it.
The toy that I ended up getting for the girls was an Encanto karaoke machine where you can connect to Bluetooth.
That's sick. Yeah.
Give a kid a mic. Even if it doesn't connect to Bluetooth, be perform. Ooh, and then be the parent announcing, and now, ladies and gentlemen, for your pleasure, one night only. I don't know. There's so many things that you can really give
them a chance to flex for sure.
For sure.
One thing that I am seeing this year more than ever is kids are bringing their friends here. Paola brought her friend just to listen to her play. Alzara brought her friend just to listen to her play and I don't know, potentially become a student or something. Hopefully. But that's so cool. Because I did do that one time. I told a friend to come to my piano school just to see what I do there. And yeah, that's awesome. Because at that point, that means they're taking agency in that thing they're doing. And this isn't just the piano class they come to every Tuesday at that point. This is a thing that they like. Right. And they're starting to identify with, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even, I love something Manuela's mom does. And she's always sending us videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of cheating because she is a musician. So love you guys. But I think what's beautiful is, Manuela, she lets her room, I've seen pictures of her room. Mm-hmm. She lets her decorate it. She lets, gives her autonomy over the clothes she wants to wear. Mm-hmm. Giving her that creative independence and creative liberty is really important. So Manuela sends me videos all the time where she'll re-put on her costumes from years recitals
Love
past,
that.
and she'll just put on a show, and then she'll do a music video, and it'll be really eclectic, and I'm yes, because that's creativity. That's why this is. Mm-hmm. This isn't about the perfection of honestly. I was literally just talking to you guys. I was there's no, unless you're a weird incarnate prodigy. There's nobody at 5 is advanced.
No.
You're not advanced in life. Mm-hmm. You're fresh to this. So, but what you are good at is just the exploration part, and that's all we can support. And be yes, but instead, no toque eso, or don't do this, and that's where then they're oh.
Yeah.
They close off.
You at home, the parents, you at home, you can either feed that, or you can cut it short and snuff it out. And that's what you don't want to do.
Yeah. Don't stifle their creativity, parents.
Mm-hmm. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Because life will do that for them.
So that's a topic.
You might as well back them up.
It's a topic for another podcast.
Mm-hmm. I saw a TikTok where it was because of the holiday season. There's there's two types of homes in this world.
Oh.
There's the home where the stockings made out of glitter. We have the macaroni ornaments, and everybody's mom is super proud, pulls that out year after year to pull on the tree. And there's the home, and it's like this one, and it's like super like beautiful magazine cover home where the stockings are professionally embroidered, and it's like very like, and it's like, run. It's like, if you see this home, run. But I think that goes to, you know, when your kid does draw something, when Elena, I know your mama out there listens to this podcast, she came and she gave us this like, congratulations on your podcast sign.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yes! And I put it up because I'm like, I want you to see that, you know, we're like honoring this.
We appreciate
and I want you to, because we do appreciate it. And this is time that you took to be creative with us in mind. And that's beautiful. Because that's the other thing, like, imagine gifting creativity is also so amazing. Imagine you wrote a song for like a girlfriend or whatever. Like, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Or like if you did, I don't know, I make John cards all the time, which I really, the joke's on me because now I'm like backed up on the cards.
Oh no.
But, you know, I set a precedent that I just don't go to Hallmark, and it's always like an inside joke or something really special.
Oh, okay.
And there was one year where I like missed it, and he was like, where's my card?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know you were like keeping tabs on this.
Man.
And he's like, I mean, you didn't do Valentine's Day or my birthday, so where we at? And I was like, oh my god, my bad. And he's probably listening like, you still owe me those cards.
So I'm gonna make sure she gets you those cards.
But you know, like I said, it's important because even as adults, these are things. What died do the card? But it's important that, you know, you keep those cards that your kids make. It's a really treasured thing. You put the things on the fridge, guys.
I have so many drawings that kids have made me.
Yeah, I'm that mom.
I hype them up when they give them to me.
I'm that mom and that teacher. So I still have, speaking of Manuela, you know, she always does like little cards and stuff for us. So I still have like the first one she ever gave me, and I keep them because that's like so sweet that she would even think of creating something for me. Well, it's always vice versa. You know, as teachers and choreographers, we're always musicians. We're creating for them. So for them to be at that age and think of us that way, eats my heart. I absolutely love it.
And that's how you know, again, to the point of today's podcast episode, the role of the arts is that. It's Manuela creating in her bedroom with just because she wants to. It's like kids bringing us little cards that they made instead of like buying Hallmark cards for Christmas. Like, it's those are the moments. That's why the arts is important, because it's what makes us human. What was that quote that you mentioned? It was like art, something about music is what makes us human.
From Good Will Hunting?
Maybe. What is it?
I think so.
He was like, what do you say? He was like, medicine, law, engineering, these are all professions necessary to sustain life, but art, love, and some other third thing, this is what we stay alive for, kind of thing.
For music. For arts, for this.
Amazing.
Yes. So all these things keep us alive, but the arts, this beauty, these moments that make us cry, that something that moves us to tears. Right. That's what's worth living for.
Yeah, that's where the humanity is.
Right.
Like, the whole reason us as a species are like still trucking is to experience more of that. Right. Otherwise, we would just be like robots.
Oof, that hit different today. I don't know why.
Yeah.
My chest. Yeah,
it's deep.
Because you have those moments, like you said, we go through autopilot, and not having the arts is removing your kid's ability to switch off autopilot. You can't land on autopilot. You can't take off on autopilot. So you're just like this continual coast. And if they don't have that switch available, then that's worrisome.
For sure.
On a real level.
And that'll drag on into like adulthood. I have like friends who have told me sometimes they feel like they're just existing and not living. And they're like, they're depressed because they don't have the thing. They never got the thing. They never found their thing. And now they're struggling to do it in like their 20s. Not that you can't. Right. You can find your passion at any age. But they're like, some of their issues is that they don't even know what to do. I've had friends message me being like, damn, I wish I didn't quit. Like, damn, like, oh, I see you doing stuff. That's so cool. Wow. I'm jealous. Like, I've been straight up messaged. Like, especially after I post something on Instagram, I very often get DM'd. They're like, damn.
Yeah.
You still giving lessons? Come through to
Come on, pull up to our
UCMD.
job.
Being a creator is such a beautiful thing, guys. We're consuming all the time. We're consuming in the TV and movies. We're consuming TikTok videos. But all of those have creators behind them.
Oh,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are, just consuming. It's like we're eating. We're getting fatter and fatter. But then we're not going out and like exercising that same ability that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's gluttonous within itself, because it's like, let's reciprocate.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's put things out into the world that other people can enjoy just how we're enjoying what other people are putting on.
The only reason I can use Instagram without going insane is because I myself am sharing.
Yeah.
If I didn't share stuff on Instagram, I can't imagine just...
Scrolling, yeah.
That's crazy. Like, that's the only reason I keep that app, because I also post and I share and I little covers and I play. Because if not... Because it's a fantastic platform for creativity and music and everything. But if I wasn't doing that, I don't think I'd be on that app. It would just be like too much.
Yeah.
To say with me in TikTok. So I'll
Yeah.
scroll, but if there's like a sound, they're like...
No, yeah, you can.
And most of my
TikToks
stuff
all
is
the
like
time.
really funny, and like I am a mom, so most of them, a lot of them are like mom
Yeah.
related.
Mom-related.
No, for sure.
Or like, just personal life related things that I relate to, and I just, go and create them and share them with the world.
It's like the only way I can be on the internet. It's like the only way I can be.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
We just sit there and like look.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how to cope with life.
In a very when I was coming back from Thanksgiving that I told you guys I was like designing
Right.
that. I told Yumi, I was like, yo, for the very for a while, like I was in such a state of flow that I was like, I felt like blood flowing again in a different way through my body. And I'm like, there's so many things that the arts do for you if you're really able to like click in, that even if you don't create a career out of it, just like I know when my dad's upset, he'll play the guitar and that like calms him right down. Or it really is a coping mechanism.
It is.
Like, and it's a healthy one. Instead of having giving your kids the ability to find other things to do that with, this is a great insert for somebody, for happy, for sad, for depressed, for anger. It's just a great channel for anything.
It's a beautiful outlet.
It really is.
Because when you're angry too, like really great things come out of that.
Oh, true. Very
Some
good.
of my best choreographies has come out when I'm angry or sad. So.
Yeah, it's a transmutable thing.
Yeah, it was like when Adele got divorced. Ooh, everyone was like, "Ooh, album coming up."
Yeah.
Like,
Divorce.
who knows?
Divorce, babe,
Yeah.
divorce.
That's why Taylor Swift.
People know. Yeah, exactly.
My
People like,
God,
oh,
Taylor Swift.
she broke up. All right, album coming. Like
Right.
people know already.
Yeah.
What
It's
produces.
Shout out to
ideas.
Jake Gyllenhaal. How you feeling?
Yeah, that scarf.
Phew.
I finally heard that song. It's a pretty good song.
Yeah, it is pretty decent.
Not bad.
She was really
I'm not
upset.
a Swifter, but it was pretty good.
Swifty? No.
A Swiftie then. As a Swifter.
Like
You're not the Swiffer wet jet.
He's not mopping the floor, but he likes the song, y'all.
But yeah,
my God.
it's a really good outlet.
Yeah.
To pretty much express anything. That and like drawing, I wish I could draw.
Oh, me too.
So nice.
I can color for days. Like, give me something to color, and it's something that I do to kind of with my anxiety. But to draw, tell me to draw something, I'm drawing you stick figures, because and this is something my dad jokingly says to me. He says, "Listen, you sing, you dance, you act, you choreograph. You can't have all the talents, babe. You gotta give some to the other people."
That is true.
Which is funny because now Keandra likes to draw, and Keandra draws fairly well, and I'm like, she must have gotten the gene that I did it. Like, she got it from somewhere. Yeah.
Or so the arts is just a beautiful thing for all of the emotions and for all of the education. So I really can't say, and the why it's so unique and why I feel it's so irreplaceable is that even if you do sports, it's still not. It still doesn't exactly do what the arts does for our psyche and for our human bodies. So although sports teams, are great, I played sports my whole life. There's still something deeper with the arts for me.
Well, for sure. I also I did swimming, and though it was fun and it was great and it was athletic and it kept me in shape, it didn't do the same for me as art does. Yeah. And we went to competitions and we did the whole nine, and it's just still wasn't the same as you know, being with like in the dance studio and going to competitions with the girls and doing all that. It's like two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is that all we got?
All right. That's all my notes. I had some for Ann, but he ain't here. So Ann, next week I'm gonna ask you the question.
Yeah, I think to wrap up and make it concise is exactly that. The arts is what breathes life back into us. It's what brings us back to self and make sure that we remain human. Because there's so many things, especially now with this metaverse nonsense. There's so many ways that society's trying to pull us out of ourselves.
Disconnect, guys.
Yeah,
Disconnect.
they're really trying to disconnect us and
delete the metaverse.
and you know, artists are anarchists. Artists are the revolutionaries. It is always through art that wars have started. It's always in this field that change happens. You know, in Cuba, the
Right.
Patria Vida,
Correct.
that song revolutionized a nation and made people all over the world come together over a cause. The art is just such an incredibly powerful tool because when you are able to open and penetrate somebody's heart,
Right.
that is power, man. It really is. And when you're able to do that for yourself and check in with your own body, to be able to then create through that emotion, there's just no words. And that's why it's art.
Right.
Because words
Definitely.
cannot describe the feeling. So if you're not an artist out there, I definitely suggest that you try to pick it up as a hobby. And it can be just doodling or whatever. I know so many people that are like, I'm not good at this, but for some reason I just do it because I like doing it.
Yeah.
Just erase the I'm not good at this part.
Yeah.
You don't have to add that to the sentence.
Yeah. It's because it's just a state of doing and being.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
A state of doing
And being.
and being.
For sure.
So pick up an art, guys.
Yeah.
check
Take
us
music lessons.
And
Hit
pull
us
up.
to my
Pull
job.
up to our
UCMD.
job. We got you.
Come on over.
Yeah, so much good things coming out. All right, guys.
We'll see you in the next one.
Thank y'all. It's
Peace
been
out.
a pleasure.
Cub Scouts.
Bye.